This is Katie Lopez with the Tampa Bay Chamber, and I want to thank and welcome the viewers for tuning in to our 2024 candidate interview series for the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners. The Chamber focuses on policy, not politics, and while we do not endorse candidates, we want to make sure that our members and the business community are informed of where candidates stand on the issues most important to them. We are excited to welcome Patricia Alonzo running for District 2. Thank you for joining us, Patricia.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Katie.
So, as we head into the home stretch towards Election Day, can you give us a brief 30 seconds or less update on your campaign and what message you want to deliver to voters?
Definitely. Thank you so much, Katie. Well, again, I'm Patricia Alonzo, running for County Commission in District 2. Really, what I want to say is this campaign is very energized. We are looking at where we are in a polling. We are up by 9 in a district that was a +7 Biden, and it was a +8 Andrew Gillum. It is a county that and a state that has the top of the ticket at a +8. So we are looking at some very, very good data that this race is headed in the right way, connecting with a lot of voters, knocking on a lot of doors, doing a lot of phone banking, and really bringing the issues to them that are plaguing them, those kitchen table issues, as well as the county-wide ones that impact business, that impact education, impact development, to really get a grasp of what they're feeling and how to better serve them. If I am honored to be elected and sit behind the dais and represent our county.
How can the county government use its authority and its resources to direct job growth that is inclusive of diverse talent?
Excellent question, Katie. I think one of the reasons is we have to look at the directions that our county is going. When we looked in a recent poll that spoke to our community, only 17% of Hillsborough County residents think that the quality of life will be better here in Hillsborough in 5 years. When I saw that, I really had to take a step back and digest that, because that is only 17% of our population that feels that they'll have a better quality of life. And we really need to change that, and we need to change the direction that our county is headed. We need to retain what makes Hillsborough County a great place to live, not only, but a great place to work and raise our families. And our county commission can't afford to continue to slash investment in housing and affordability. While we're dithering in culture wars and issues that are coming from Tallahassee, our issues need to focus on our community. And we need to make sure that we're focusing on urban sprawl, that it doesn't consume our green spaces. It's not clogging our roads and overfill our sewers. Our commission should be serving this community and making sure that every single night families have what they need to continue to prosper. And I think one of the most important things to be able to develop a good workforce is investing in education. As a Chamber of Commerce individual, you know that we are always looking for the most highly educated, the most prepared workforce. And the way to do that is through education. If we provide our teachers and our schools with the resources that they need, we will have a thriving business educated community right at our door. And we need to take advantage of that by making sure that education is at the forefront of what the commission continues to do to support the growth of our county.
A key duty of the county commissioners is to construct, approve, and implement a budget.
Yes.
What is one area of county services that you feel needs the most additional resources? And should
Yeah.
any part of the county budget be shielded from cuts?
Yeah, I think the county commission today precisely is having a meeting about budgetary issues. And one of the issues that is at the top of my focus is housing. We are living in one of the biggest housing issues on a national level and at a local level. And sadly, our county commission cut the budget by 80%. In this current cycle. And today, one of the biggest conversations is about budgetary issues. The biggest conversation is about housing and taking housing completely off the 2025 budget. That's a real concern, because once again, one of the things that we have noticed in speaking to the community is the fact that we are losing individuals because we do not have enough housing available, and housing that's affordable. And by affordable, I mean, let's change the rhetoric that's out there of what that means. By affordable, I means where our teachers can teach and live there and be able to afford a home, where our nurses, where our firemen, where our public service workers, that is affordable housing. It represents our whole community. It's not that rhetoric that we have in our mind right there. So that's why, to me, one of the biggest issues that we have to be looking is that, and also education, because they go hand in hand. If we educate and provide better resources to our community, we have a thriving number of professionals within our district to then be able to continue to make our county grow. If our constituency is happy and is growing and thriving, so is our county. So some of the areas to look at for me are very important is the issue of housing, is the issue of education, is the issue of transportation. And I don't think that we should consider slashing things, but enhancing things in our budget and making sure that we're targeting the areas that are suffering the most. Because we know we have some people within our county that are not thriving. And how do we change that? Through our county commission that has a $9 billion budget and needs to be appropriated to meet the need of everyone across the county.
The renewal of the community investment tax, also known as the CIT, will
Yes,
be on the ballot this fall for
yes,
voters
ma'am.
to decide whether or not to continue the 0.5% sales tax that funds capital improvement projects across Hillsborough County. What is your position on the CIT renewal and why?
Well, I think the CIT renewal is important. I think it's one of the things that our constituent, our community has to make a decision how they would like to vote that, whether it's voting it up or voting it down. I know it is a big concern for me when that CIT was slashed for education. I come from an educational background. I have a master's degree in education, a bachelor's degree in fine arts with a focus on language access and working with our disability community. And for me, I taught here in Hillsborough County. And for me, teaching, apprenticeship programs, a pathway to college, those things are very important because once again, it is how we make our county thrive and we create a workforce. So when I look at the CIT budget, for me, it was very disheartening to see the slashes to education because once again, that is a pathway to success to our county, investing in education. So that was a concern for me, and seeing it go from a 25 to a 5%. Really is going to affect our schools. We had 6 school closures in Hillsborough County that are really affecting our student population. We have the 4th largest school district in this county. So looking at all of those things, I'm concerned about the CIT and whether or not it will be voted up or down and how it will continue to impact our community. So definitely it's one of the things that was on the forefront of my thought process, especially when we're looking at education and growing the workforce in Hillsborough County, the impact that that will have.
Housing affordability remains a top concern for
Yeah.
residents and the business community as we seek to recruit and retain a strong workforce. What zoning or policy changes would you support to address the growing workforce housing needs in Hillsborough County?
Yeah. Once again, going back to that 17% of the population that doesn't believe that in the next 5 years they will be better off in Hillsborough County, is looking at that and working with community partners and working within the community with the county commission to, instead of getting rid of the housing funding, increasing housing funding, because that would allow, once again, that population that we are training, that we are growing, to be able to buy and to live in the district that they work and stay in Hillsborough County. Recently, I had a friend that left Tampa for one of our larger states. And one of the things that they told me they were concerned, and the reason they were leaving, is schools. We shouldn't be losing highly educated, home trained, home educated individuals in Hillsborough County that are upward mobility professionals to cities like Austin, Charlotte, Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, California. We should not be losing our workforce because we don't have the educational resources to grow our community. So those are the kind of things that concern me.
Transportation challenges do continue to weigh on our region as well. What do you
Mhm.
see as an opportunity for investment in innovative transit alternatives and mobility options?
Yeah. As we see, as you very well said, our county is growing. We're seeing massive growth in the West Shore area. We're seeing massive growth in the area of the university where USF is at. We're seeing a lot of development. Sadly, as we continue to build and to build even housing, it's getting further and further away from the inner part of the county. And those are transportation dead zones. And there is no connectivity to heart. There is no alternative for mass transit here. The bus routes are not very consistent. If you've never gone to a bus interchange area, please take your time to do that. You will see our community sitting there for an hour and a half. I have gone there to do voter outreach to make sure that we're educating people on, voting for candidates, registering to votes. And when I'm out there, I'm more than anything watching the dynamics of what's happening there with transportation. And sadly, if one of those individuals, one of our residents is sitting there waiting for a bus and they happen to miss the bus, there goes their job. They will not get to their job. Now they have to wait on time. They will now have to wait another hour, hour and a half because before they can get on a bus and actually get to work. And as we know, we are in a state where we're in a right to work state. If someone doesn't show up, they believe that they are not attached to their job as they should be. They're not responsible, and what they're not realizing, and the impact of that is transportation. So my initiative would be to work more closely with HART to develop more consistent bus routes, to look at potential train services within, or a pay system here that connects not only into the downtown area, into the Ybor area, into the USF area, but potentially intra-county area. We have a lot of teachers that go from Hillsborough into Pasco to teach into the Wesley Chapel area, and there's no way of connecting that. Why is that not? I come from a major city where transportation gets you everywhere in minutes, and sadly here we don't have that, and we are thriving business area that would even grow more if we had sustainable transit. So my focus would be to work on an initiative like that to make sure that we are providing better transportation into the downtown area, into the new developed areas we're looking at, that they're looking at plans for West Shore, that we're looking at Ybor, all of that to continue to grow and make our county thrive and its people.
Of all the issues confronting Hillsborough County, which single issue is most important to you and why? And what would you do about it if you are elected?
There's so many, as you said, there are many issues. I think my single issue obviously is going to have to be an education focus, and I'm going to tack into that housing. Education's because once again, that workforce, developing that talent in Hillsborough County. As a teacher, I've seen it in the kids. I've seen the passion for education. I've seen the need to develop. I've seen the need for them to have access not just to a four-year university, but to a two-year program, to having apprenticeship that sometimes our union workforce provides. Those are the pathways that need to be invested in because we keep that homegrown talent here and we do not lose it. And what does that do? It allows our county to grow. It allows the business sector to grow, and it allows more attraction of other companies to come to Hillsborough County if we have the workforce to develop their businesses. Sadly, we cannot allow businesses to look at us and say, oh, it's great, but where's the workforce to be able to sustain the jobs that we have? Where is, on top of that, the transportation to support the work that we have of a mass community that is professional, but doesn't have the ability to get to and from. So for me, it's education because it is a trickle down to everything that our county needs. So supporting education will allow us to grow as a county in many different ways within the business sector.
Where can voters go to learn more about your campaign and your position on issues that are most important to them?
Yes, thank you so much, Katie. So it's patriciaalonzo.com. They can visit my website there and learn a little bit about my background, education, my community connection, the work that I do to support through different nonprofit organizations, and really just give my time to the community. I've always been someone that has served. And if I am honored enough to be elected and earn this seat behind the dais as your county commission, I will continue to serve and work hard for the people of Hillsborough County.
Patricia Alonzo, candidate for Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners, District 2. On behalf of our members and our board of directors, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us and your willingness to serve in an elected office. This concludes our candidate interview.